or in this case here, traditional approach. Now today, we want to do the same P and L, but this time around using this modern method called ABC. ABC. ABC, I don't need to introduce ABC at all to yourselves. This is something that you guys did in CPA section 2. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, activity-based costing. Activity-based costing. Activity-based costing, popularly known as what here? ABC. ABC. What you're supposed to know, ladies and gentlemen, is that ABC, unlike the traditional model, ABC, and I hope they're able to see my board very well. If they're not able to see my board very well, please ask me to zoom. So we have here ABC. ABC is a multiple. Is a multiple factor. Is a multiple factor model. Is a multiple factor. Is a multiple factor model. ABC is a multiple factor model, i.e., it uses many factors into brackets here, many cost drivers to apportion, many cost drivers to apportion the total overhead, to apportion the total overhead, to apportion the total overhead, to apportion the total overhead. Remember, for the traditional method, we use what we call a blanket. That's why at times it's called a blanket wide, where we take, ladies and gentlemen, the total overhead and then apportion it using only one factor. For ABC, which is a modern method, it uses multiple cost drivers to apportion the total overhead, meaning that you must analyze the total overhead critically. The total overhead must be analyzed critically to see the components, to see the structure, So for us to be able to understand this very well, let's look at May 2018. May 2018. Question number 3, boy. Question number 3, boy. Specifically Roman 2 of that question. Where they want us to make use of ABC to do a profit and loss statement. The first thing that we need to do with this ABC is to apportion. Remember, ABC is used to apportion, the overheads. Now, please go to additional information, note number 1. Additional information, note number 1. They have given us the company's budgeted overhead cost for the coming period. So they have given us processing services, we have assembly services, quality control, and then we have selling and what here? Administration. So I have to write down all those overhead items one at a time. So we start with processing. Processing services. So processing services, we have the second one being the assembly. The assembly services cost, overhead cost. We have quality control. We have the quality control, and then we have what we call the selling and the selling and administration. The selling and administration. So these are the overhead items. I would want you to look at the information given keenly to ascertain the factors which affect these particular overheads, to ascertain factors that we call the cost drivers. So we start with processing services. Now, when you look at the items you're given there, like in note number 4, look at note number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, processing is normally done by machines. So the factor which will be very well affecting processing services, processing overhead will be the machine hours. The more the hours, the more the processing cost. So nobody will give you the cost drivers. The cost drivers, you're supposed, ladies and gentlemen, to look at the relationships. Like now processing the services to process, machine processes. So machine processes. So processing services, we have here machine hours. We have machine what here? Machine hours. We have machine hours. Processing services, we have machine hours. How about, I want us to go slowly, how about assembly services? Assembly services. When you look at the information given all over, what do you think will be the best criteria of apportioning assembly services? Of apportioning assembly services. What do you think will be the best criteria? Please try to read there and tell me what are they saying about assembly services. Labor hours. Because mostly to assemble these components that have been put down, we normally use laborers. We normally use, in this case here, workers. So assembly services, we shall apportion assembly services overhead using labor hours. You guys are bright. Using labor hours. Using labor hours. Using labor hours. How about quality control? How about quality control? How about quality control? Quality control. How about quality control? Quality control. How about quality control? No, not customer orders. Customer orders will come under selling. Because the more the orders, the more this selling cost will be. Customer orders will come here. Customer orders will come here. Customer orders will come here. Customer orders will go there. So quality control, I'm still waiting for an answer from you, the correct answer from you. Quality control, what should we use? Quality control. Machine hours, quality and machine hours? Not really. Don't tell me that the more a product spends in a machine, in terms of machine time, the more the quality, no, there's no relationship there. But thank you for trying. Number of production runs. Not unless you are told otherwise. For quality control, we always use number of production runs. Number of production runs. So we have here number of production runs. Number of production runs. Number of production runs. Number of production runs. Because, ladies and gentlemen, quality control is all about what? We have produced this particular number of units in a batch, single batch, in a run, single run. The moment we do such production, we need to call the quality inspectors. So the more, the number of times we run our machines and do our production, ladies and gentlemen, the more times those inspectors will be coming. Not unless we are told otherwise. Normally, quality control, we normally use what we call number of water production runs. Number of production runs. Number of production runs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would want us to start doing the apportionment. For us to do the apportionment, we need the proportions. So I would need you guys to come and give me the proportions here. We start with machine hours. We start with machine hours. We start with machine hours. Machine hours. So I'm doing a proportions, and I've begun with machine hours. So now we have machine hours. So machine hours for my products. What do we have here? Remember the products were these sofa sets, where we had 3 types. We had the American. So we have the American here. I want to know this American sofa set will be taking how many machine hours? We have the butterfly. So we have the butterfly. So butterfly, And then lastly, we have comfy. Lastly, we have the famous what here? Comfy. Comfy is the one that I chose. If I was to buy one between the three, I would have gone for comfy. Seemingly, it's comfortable. Comfortable. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would wish you guys to give me the machine hours that we need for American. Machine hours that we need for American. How many machine hours do we need for American? Ladies and gentlemen, talk to me. Uh-huh. They haven't received passwords. Maybe on WhatsApp. We need to be checking on WhatsApp. Sorry for that. So you have to give me 1 minute. 1 minute. There's some group of students here who haven't gotten their login credentials. Just 1 minute, please. Keeping so many of us outside there, and for that reason, we just have to start again. I'm so sorry, please allow me to start again. There's a big group of students which was outside, which we have to accommodate because the mistake wasn't theirs. We simply forgot to send them the login credentials. So today we are discussing something quite popular in your exams and very easy called activity-based costing. Activity-based costing, ABC, activity-based costing, which basically is a continuation of the question that we were doing yesterday. In our yesterday's class, if you remember, we did this question of May 2018, or rather November, no, it's May 2018. May 2018, question number 4B. Question number 4B, of which Roman 1, we were able to put up a profit and loss statement using a conventional method or traditional method, the one that apportions the total overhead using only one factor, and then on number 2, they want us to do a profit and loss statement this time around using ABC, And we started by saying that ABC, ladies and gentlemen, is a model, that uses many factors, into brackets here, cost drivers to apportion the total overhead, So unlike the traditional method that makes use of only one factor, ladies and gentlemen, ABC uses what here? Many factors, i.e. it is a multi-factor model. And because of this multiplicity, we are going to see later on that ABC gives us, ladies and gentlemen, accurate predicted costs, accurate predictions, gives us better predicted costs as opposed to the traditional method that lumps up everything together. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to this ABC, we must analyze our total overhead to see the structure, to see the components. And in this question that we are doing here today, additional information number one, they have given us the company's budgeted overhead cost for the coming period. They are given there. You can see our overheads are listed there. We have overhead. Because it is ABC, we need to know the structure. We need to know the components of the total overhead. So overhead, we have processing services, we have assembly services, we have quality control, and then we have selling and what here? Administration. Selling and administration. Now, our work this morning will be very easy. how do we attach cost drivers or factors which have a relationship with the overhead items? And I started by explaining that processing, we are using machines to process our products, and therefore to be able to apportion processing overhead, we shall use what here? Machine hours. Because the more the time we give you in our machines, the more the processing cost you'll absorb as a product. And then we have assembly services. In most cases, look at these assembling plants. Assembling plants, ladies and gentlemen, are more of labor. They are labor intensive. And that is why we said for assembly services, we shall be using labor hours. And then we have quality control. Quality control, not unless you're told otherwise. For quality control, the more the runs, the more the production, the more the runs, the more the output, and of course, the higher these batches, quantities you produce, the more number of times you'll be having to call, you'll be calling the inspectors who will come and assess quality. Quality control, normally, we use number of what year production runs. And then we have selling and what year administration. Selling and administration, what do we have there? Customer orders. Because the more the orders, the more your selling cost will be. The more the orders, the more the administration cost will incur. Now, so here we were. So we had gone to the next step of apportionment, of getting the cost drivers proportions. So right there, as now we continue, cost driver proportions. So cost drivers proportions. We shall start with the first cost driver. Cost driver is a factor that influences a cost, that drives a cost. So we start with the first one, which is what here, somebody, which I can see here, which is machine hours. So machine hours. So ladies and gentlemen, for machine hours, what do we have? I want machine hours for each of my products. Where the first product is called the American sofa. Seems good. Then we have butterfly. We have the butterfly sofa set. And then we have my sofa set, which is the comfy. When I get money, I'll buy this. Comfy. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Please give me the machine hours that we need to be able to produce American sofa sets. From note number 4, how many hours do we need, machine hours do we need for us to be able to apportion, or rather for us to be able to manufacture American? They are 4 hours, but there you're wrong, trust you me. Why? Because they have told us machine hours per unit. Whenever a parameter is given on a per unit basis, it has to be multiplied with number of units, because ABC is a totality model. We want total figures. So whenever they talk of machine hours per unit, I can see find 4, but now look for the number of American sofa sets that you have to produce from the note given immediately after the first paragraph of this question, May 2018. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, the production of American, we have 900. So American sofa sets will be 4 times 900. We have butterfly, I can see 800, and the butterfly we need 3 hours. So 3 hours, machine hours times 800. And then we have comfy, 1,000 times 6 times 1,000. One of the same, 6 times 1,000. So could you kindly give us these figures, my great friends? We have 4 times 900. 4 times 900. Don't have a calculator, and I've decided not to be using one. So 4 times 900, what do we have, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, 3,600. Thank you, and thank you very much. And then we have 3 times 800. 3 times 800. course, I know the figure, but because I would want you to participate in this, you have to give me the figure. 2,400. This one is very easy. It gives us 6,000. So please come and give us the total here. Give us the total. So we have this plus this plus this. What figure do we have here, somebody? 12,000. 12,000. I'm being given 12,000. I can see two zeros, two zeros. So in terms of proportions, what do we have? This will be 36 out of 120. You can even decide to write in full that 600, no problem. Out of 12,000, no problem. This will be 24 out of 120. This will be 60 out of 120. 60 out of 120. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to apportion the processing services right away. I would want to apportion the processing services right away. The processing services cost, who is able to see the total processing services cost? The total processing services cost, what do we have there, somebody? From note number 1. Is there somebody who is able to see the processing services overhead cost? 34, what here, somebody? 80. The processing services overhead is 3480,000. So kindly help me to do the apportionment. Help me to do the apportionment of processing services. Processing services, processing overhead, processing overhead. The figure is 34. The figure here is 3480. 3480, I can leave the zeros outside. 3480, and I would want you to apportion this to the American. We have the butterfly, and then we have my sofa here, the comfy. Fortunately, we happen to be having, ladies and gentlemen, the criteria of apportioning this 3480. We have these proportions. So I need to come and take this times 3480, this times 3480, this one times 3480, and then you give me figures to write here, somebody American. What do we have, somebody an American? My figures are in thousands. Chop the 3 zeros. It was 3480,000, but I said to work with 3480. So for American, what figures do we have, ladies and gentlemen, for American? I'm waiting to hear something from them. 1044. 1044. How about butter from this relationship? Butter. Butterfly. Butterfly. What are we going to get, somebody, for butterfly? 696, eh? 696, and then lastly, comfy. Comfy will be 60 over 120 times 3480.
Maybe as a question.
Maybe as a question, yes.
Why are we multiplying with 3480?
We are multiplying with 3480. You know what is an overhead? An overhead is a common expense, which is incurred for the benefit of what here, many units. But at the end of the day, the 3480, which is a common expense, has to be apportioned. And the criteria we're going to use is the machine hours whose proportions we've been able to get here. So the 3480 is a common figure that we want to apportion to our various what here? Products. To our various products. So comfy, what do we have here for comfy? 1740. 1740. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we look at the second overhead. From note number 1, the second overhead is called assembly services. The second overhead is called assembly services, and you're the ones who told me to use the labor hours. You're the ones who told me to use the labor hours to apportion these. The labor hours to apportion these. The assembly services overhead cost is 2560. 2560. So you go to your second driver called what here, somebody? labor hours. Labor hours. And this one I would want to remain quiet a little bit for you guys to do everything for me under labor. Under labor, could you kindly come and give us labor hours? And your work will be to give us the labor hours for our three types of what here? Products. For our three types of products here, we have the American, we have the butter, we have the comfy. So could you kindly give us these labor hours? At the end of the day, what do we have here for labor hours? Labor hours, labor hours, labor hours.
So I'm saying assembly was 25.
Assembly is 25, 60. Yes. We're supposed to be 25, 62. I'm being told that assembly services is supposed to be 25, 62. I don't know how truthful that is. 25, 62. How many people are able to see 25, 62? From your past paper, is it 25, 62 or 25, 60?
What did I say? 25, 62.
25, 62, eh? No problem. 25, 62. I'm being told 25, 62. 25, 62. 25, 62. 25, 62. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This 25, 62 come under apportionment. Apportionment. Apportion this figure. Let's apportion this figure. And we are apportioning it using labor hours. So we need labor hours for each. We need labor hours for each product. When I go to note number 4, I can see labor hours per unit. So whenever I see an item being given on a per unit basis, I must always multiply it with the total number of units here produced. So on top of 7 times American, I can remember American. So we have 7, 5, and 8. 7, 5, and 8. So times, go to the outputs. American were producing how many? 900. You can see from that particular table, which is on top of, or rather below first paragraph, there's a table that is giving us information regarding production units. So American, they were 900. Butterfly, they were 800. And then we have comfy, we had 1,000. So could you kindly give us these figures? Kindly give us these figures very fast. Kindly give us these figures very fast. The first figure, somebody, the first figure is supposed to give us what? Somebody there.
300.
6,300, eh? Thank you very much. How about the second one?
4,000.
4,000, thank you very much. The last one is 8,000. So please come and add the 3 figures. When you add the 3 figures, what will be the total number of labor hours?
18,300.
18,300. Therefore, in terms of labor proportions, this will be 63 over 183. This will be 40 over 183. This will be 80 over 183. If you wish, you can write them in terms of whole, like 300 over 183, 100, etc. Now, please, could you kindly apportion now this 2562 by multiplying these with these proportions for each particular product. So like now for corn, or rather American, I will take these times 2562. This one here times 2562. This one here times 2562. Please give us figures. Give us figures.
American is 882.
American is 882. How about butterfly? Butterfly, what do we have there for butterfly?
butterfly 560.
So butterfly, I'm being given a figure of
60.
560. Butterfly, 560. And then I have the last one, which is comfy. Comfy, comfy, comfy,
1120.
1120. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to go to the last one first. I'll tell you why I would want to apportion the last one first before I do the third one. So the last one is selling and administration. So we have here selling, and administration. Selling and administration, ladies and gentlemen, you're the ones who told me that I should use number of orders, number of customer 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 orders. So I need you to analyze the customer orders with an objective of giving us their proportions. With an objective of giving us their proportions. With an objective of giving us their proportions. What do we have there, somebody? Number of orders, customer orders. According to my products, we have American, we have butter, we have comfy. So what do we have there, somebody, as number of orders? So number of orders, I'm being told from note number 4, number of orders are 30, 40, 50. So number of orders, we have 30, 40, 50. Am I going to multiply them with anything? Those figures you've given me, am I going to multiply them with anything to get total? Or the way they are, they're already in terms of total. Don't multiply because they have not told us number of orders per unit. They are silent. We only invoke, we only involve, we only get to use a number of units whenever they tell us a parameter is on a per unit basis. But when I look at note 4, we have number of customer orders. Number of customer orders, they're just silent like that. So I should just pick 30, 40, and 50 like that without doing any multiplications. So please come and add. Give us, in this case here, the total. The total. So you add the 3, you're getting 100 what here? 120. So once you give us number of orders as 120, come and give us our proportions. Our proportions, we have 3 out of 12. We have 4 out of 12. We have 5 out of 12. And the selling and administration, ladies and gentlemen, selling and administration figure. What is the figure that you guys are able to see there for selling and administration? 3300, 3007 point what here? 3007.5. Because my figures are in terms of what here? Shillings, thousands. My figures are in terms of shillings, thousands. Shillings, thousands. Are they able to see this figure somewhere for selling and administration? Are they able to see this figure?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So please go ahead and apportion it. So how do we apportion this? We have the proportions already. So come and multiply this with 3007.5 times 3007.5 times 3007.5. Please give us figures. Please give us figures. American, how much? American, how much? Somebody for American. I'm waiting. American, how much?
751 point.
741 point?
751 point.
751 point?
875.
So can we talk of 88, two decimal places? Two decimal places, 88 is sufficient. Go to butterfly. Butterfly, what we have there? Butterfly. Butterfly, what we have there? Butterfly. So butterfly, it will be this times that, give us an answer in terms of two decimal places. We write down
1002.5.
1002.5, and then comfy, we'll talk of 5 over 12 times this figure, 5 over 12 times that figure, which will end up giving us what figure?
Oh, 1253.
1250.
3.113.
Thank you, and thank you very much. There is one more we haven't apportioned. There is one that we skipped here called the quality control. Quality control, the way I know quality control, not unless I'm told otherwise, I will always apportion quality control using number of production runs. Using number of production runs. Number of production runs. Quality control, use number of production runs. So quality control overhead, which is to be apportioned, is 1930. The quality control overhead that is to be apportioned is 1930. It's 1930. 1930, 1930. 1930. Quality control to be apportioned is 1930. And they want us to make use of number of production runs, which I would want to give you a minute. You look for those runs from the information provided for us. Please try your best. So is there somebody who has been able to give us number of production runs? Because in most cases, number of production runs will not be given there in the question expressly. No. 50. The first one I'm being told the answer is 50. Number of production runs. Number of production runs. Number of production runs. Number of production runs for American. We have butter, and then we have comfy. American butter and the comfy. American butter and the comfy. American butter and the comfy. Number of production runs. They've told us that every time they set up their machines like this, they produce a batch of 50. Look at note number, look at note number, look at note number 3. Note number 3. Production of each type of sofa set takes place in batches of 50. In batches of 50 units, meaning that every time we switch on our machine like this, we'll do a whole run, which has got what here, somebody? 50 units. 50 units. And therefore, to get number of production runs, what we'll do is to talk of the output divided by the batch size. Output divided by the batch size. So this number of production runs, ladies and gentlemen, basically there are a number of batches. The number of batches here. So for American, we know the output. American output is 900. American output is 900. When you talk of butter output is 800. The other confis output is what here is 1,000. So come and divide these by the batch size, which is 50 for each one of them. What they have told us in note number 3, note number 3, they have told us production of each type of sofa set takes place in batches of 50 units. So please give us the number of batches. So 900 divided by 50 gives me what figure, somebody here? Waiting. 900 divided by 50 will give us what figure? 18, eh? 18. How about 800 divided by 50? 16. And then lastly, we have 1,000 divided by 50 giving us what there? 20. So give us the total number of production runs. Total number of production runs. Remember, production runs are the same as what here? Number of batches. They're not given separately. They are giving us 44. 54. Sorry for that. So come and give us the proportions of these, which will help us to apportion the proportions. So this will be 18 over 54. This will be 16 over 54. This will be 20 over 50. If you wish, you can say 2 goals, and it doesn't matter really for us. And then the figure that they would want us to apportion is this 1930. Now that you've got proportion there, come and multiply this with 1930. Multiply this with 1930. Multiply this with 1930. Give us figures. Give us figures. We write here under quality control. So under quality control, American, how much? Butterfly, how much? Comfy, how much?
1930.5.
The first one is?
That is giving 1930.5.
18 over 54 times 1930 will give us what figure, somebody there? Or the fact they're giving us this is supposed to be 1930.5, eh?
Yeah, it's a correction.
Correction, yeah. 1930.5. Thank you for that. So this is supposed to be 1930.5. 1930.5. 1930.5. So please give us figures. Pretty first. What do we have there? Pretty first.
643.5.
643.5. Go to butterfly. Butterfly, what shall we get?
572.
572. How about comfy?
715.
715. Thank you, and thank you very much. Now come and give us total overheads. Give us the total overheads. Give us the total overheads. Total overheads. Total overheads. Total overheads. So total overheads, you simply add if it's American, total, give us a figure to write here. Butterfly, give us a figure to write there. Comfy, give us a figure to write there. So American, is there somebody who has gotten an answer? American, what do we have there for American? $33. 21.38. Thank you, and thank you very much. How about butterfly? Butterfly, just slowly butterfly. 696 plus this plus this plus this. Give us a figure. Give us a figure.
2830.5.
38?
2830.5.
2830?
Yeah.
0.5. And then lastly, what do we have there? Lastly,
48.28.
0.13. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. After getting these total overheads, which have been apportioned using ABC, now you can go ahead and give us an income statement. Please save this figure somewhere. Save the figure somewhere. So mention there income statement ABC. Income statement ABC. Income statement ABC. Now everything is quite simple. Income statement ABC. Income statement. Income statement. ABC. Activity-based costing. So income statement, I'll do incomes here for each of my various products here, where the first one is American, the second one is butter, the third one, ladies and gentlemen, is comfy. So we start right away, ladies and gentlemen, with what here? Sales revenue. Fortunately, these sales revenues and the prime cost will be the same as the ones that we had yesterday. Revenues versus prime cost. Revenues versus prime cost. So revenue, how do we get revenue, my great friends? To get revenue, we'll take the selling price times number of units. Like American, selling price is 40,000 times number of units of American, which are 900. So please, figures in shillings thousands. Figures in shillings thousands. Please give me the revenue under America. Under American, revenue equals what here, somebody? Under American. We even had these figures yesterday.
36,000.
36,000. How about butterfly? Let's fly like this butterfly. Butterfly should be equal to what, somebody there? 16,000. And then we have comfy. Comfy will give us what figure, somebody there? 30,000. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these great people have given us the prime costs per unit. In terms of ABC, in terms of our profitability, whenever you have parameters being given to you in form of unit costs or whatever, always multiply them with the number of units. So I can see the prime cost of American is 35,000 times 900 American sofa sets that we produced. So what prime cost do we have here, somebody? Prime cost for American. For American, prime cost. Are they able to give me answers there? Not yet. Prime cost. The prime cost. Are we getting those answers from different students or only from one particular student? Different students. Thank you very much. That's very good. So we have American, how much?
2,500.
Thank you very much. How about butter? You simply write there in your comments, butter equals. Butter equals. Butter equals.
Yeah, someone was saying you can leave a bit.
Okay, how we got?
I was supposed to repeat James.
James, so in this case here, we are simply getting what here? Like revenue. How do we get revenue from your quantitative analysis? You should take price times what here? Quantity. So you can see like American on that table, this table after the first paragraph, you can see the selling price per American sofa is 40,000 times number of units here, American, which were 900. The same case here with the prime cost. You take the prime cost per unit times number of units. Hope that helps. So American 31,500. How about butter?
12,800.
12,800. How about coffee?
Someone is asking how do we calculate prime cost?
Prime cost. We are taking the prime cost figure given under American. American prime cost per unit is 35,000. So American prime cost is 35,000. Prime cost 35,000 times the number of sofa sets and American which were produced, which were 900. Whatever you get, you divide by 1,000 because our figures are in terms of shillings, thousands. You do the same with butter. You take the prime cost for butter times number of sofa sets of butterfly reproduced. So how about comfy? Comfy, what figure are we getting for comfy?
24,000.
24,000. Thank you and thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, apart from prime cost, of course, we are aware that we have some other costs. Those costs which are not connected directly with the units, we call them overheads. So we have here overheads, and unfortunately, overheads, we happen to be having overheads for each. So for American, the overhead here was 3321.38. Butter, 2830.5. Comfy, 4828.13. So come and subtract like that for you to be able to give us what here? Our profits. For you to be able to give us our net profits, So American will be revenue minus all the expenses. Revenue minus all the expenses. Give us a figure. So please give us a figure. What we have there.
$1178.62.
1178.62. How about butter? Butterfly, is there somebody who is able to get the net profit of butterfly?
369.5.
369.5. Go to comfy. Comfy, what do we have here? Somebody for comfy?
Okay. 1171.87.
87. Thank you and thank you very much. And that marks the end of this particular question. But because most of us came in a little bit late, and of course, most of us were not there yesterday, I would want us to repeat this same concept using an SCCA question that I'm displaying on the screen right away. How do you scroll down? Oh, this question here. Yes, that question. Are they able to see it?
See if I can zoom.
So I hope you are able to see the question. It's question example, activity-based costing. Okay. Okay. So we're given a question with us, ladies and gentlemen, that example 2.1. This is a book I think I'd sent to you. If I've not done that, I need to share with you this book. SEC examiners, other CP examiners normally get most of their questions from these SEC books. So we are told here, suppose that Coupland manufactures 4 products, W, X, Y, and Z. We are told the output and data for the period just ended are as follows. You can see W, X, Y, and Z. They have given us the output units. We have number of production runs in the period. We have material cost per unit. We have direct labor cost, and then we have machine hours. So they have given us down there the direct labor cost per hour is $5. Overhead cost, that is where my work is this morning. Overhead cost, we have the short run variable costs. We have the setup, expediting, and the scheduling costs. We have material handling what year costs, giving us a total figure of 3,800. 3,800. I would prefer if you guys could copy that question, put it down very fast. Just copy that question very fast. Copy the important things. I'm giving you 5 minutes to copy that table. Copy the important things only. Important things only. At the moment you finish copying, please give us a thumbs up for us to continue. Okay, so have you finished copying the question? Have you finished copying the question, my great students? No, okay. So the one saying I should share the book with Summit students, that is okay, but I need to have perhaps one of the students' phone numbers, which I can use to share. You could just try reaching out to me. You could try reaching out to me. Try reaching out to me at 07 on 0721620183 on WhatsApp. Once you hit my WhatsApp page, I'll be able to send you the book and then you share with that rest, like the class representative. 0721 620 183. 0721 620 183 is my number. So most students are saying yes, they're done with copying. So now look at the next page, the next page, the next page. Yes. Are they able to see it? That's enough. That's enough. Stop touching there. Tap technology. Okay, so you can see the question itself on this page number 22. It's up there. You can scroll it down. Yeah. So they want us to prepare unit costs for each product using A, conventional absorption costing, and B, ABC. 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 And then they are telling us to assume that the traditional absorption costing system overheads are absorbed at a direct labor hour basis rate. A direct labor hour rate. Should increase the fonts. Possible to increase. You know, just finish copying down. Required, prepare unit costs for each product using number 1, conventional absorption costing, and then number 2, ABC. Assume that in the traditional absorption costing system, overheads are absorbed at a direct labor hour rate. Direct labor hour rate. So now take me back to the question itself. Take me back to the question, that table. So this is a question that I'll get everything without even knowing what I'm doing. So we start with the traditional method. We start with the traditional method. So traditional method. Hope they're able to see Mwalimu here. Traditional methods. Also called absorption costing or conventional costing. I will need 2 things. Number 1, I will need the total overhead. I will need the total overhead. I'll need the total overhead. If you look at that particular question of ours, the total overhead is supposed to be equal to what? If you look at our question, the total overhead, they have even given me the figure, the total overhead, yes, the total overhead is supposed to be 30. The total overhead is 30,800. Total overhead is 30,800. And then they want me, I'll come and give them the factor to be used to apportion, the factor to be used to apportion the total overhead. That factor which is to be used to apportion the total overhead, they have told us in the question, it is labor hours. It is labor hours. So come and ladies and gentlemen, give us, remember, under traditional approach, we only use one factor to apportion the lump sum overhead, only one factor, which the examiner has told us down there we should we should use, ladies and gentlemen, the labor hours. So come and give us labor hours for our products. Our products, if you could just share the screen with them. For the products, what do we have there, somebody? Products, which products do we have here, somebody? Our products, you can see our products are W, X, Y, and Z. So we have here W, X, Y, and Z. And I'm interested in the total labor hours for each product. 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 What am I going to do to be able to get I can see the direct labor hours per unit. I can see the direct labor hours per unit 1, 3. I can see the direct labor hours per unit 1, 3, 1, 3. And because they have given us the labor hours per unit, I need to multiply these with the output. I need to come and multiply this with the output, and the output of this thing has been given somewhere. You can see the output of W is 10, 10, 100, 100. So we have here 10, 10, 100, 100. You can show them my board here now. Why am I multiplying my labor hours here by number of units? It's because the labor hours given there are the labor hours per unit. Labor hours per what year? Per unit. So whenever you are given an item on a per unit basis, to get the total, you must always involve number of units. So we have here 1 times 10 giving me 10. 3 times 10, this gives me 30. 1 times 100, this gives me 100. 3 times 100, this gives me 300. So please give us the total. The total what we have here is about the total labor hours, which will become my basis of apportionment. The total labor hours will become my basis of apportionment. What do we have here? 400 and what here? 40. 440. And therefore, in terms of proportions, this will be 10 over 440. This will be 30 over 440. This will be 100 over 440. And this will be 300 over 440. So come and multiply this with the total overhead, the lump sum for the organization. The lump sum for the organization is 3,800. 3,800, 3,800, 3,800. We are apportioning the 3,800 using labor hours. So will you kindly give us this figure in terms of 2 decimal places? So this is the apportioned labor, the apportioned overhead. Whatever I will be getting here will be called the apportioned overhead. Will be called the apportioned overhead. The apportioned overhead. The apportioned overhead. The apportioned overhead. 2 decimal places. Kindly give me the answers very fast. 2 decimal places. Kindly give me the answers very fast.
700.
The first student is giving me a figure of 700.
Yeah.
So 700. How about the overhead for X?
2100.
2100. So we have here 2100. How about Y?
7,000.
7,000. So we have here 7,000. And then we have Z. Ladies and gentlemen, Z, what we have here for Z?
21,000.
21,000. Thank you, and thank you very much. So come and or rather, if you want, you can try, of course, for purpose of checking your accuracy, to add the total. When you add the total, you should be able to get this 38,800. Now we are through with the apportionment of overhead. Now we can do a profitability analysis for each individual product. So mention their profit and loss account. Profit and loss account. Profit and loss account. So we have here P and L. Traditional methods. Traditional methods. So we are doing an individual product profitability. So we have our products here, W, X, Y, and Z. So I need you guys to give me the revenues. Kindly give me the revenues. Remember, to get revenue, we normally take price times what here times quantity. To get revenue, we normally take price times quantity. Price times quantity. We normally take the price times the quantity. So if you look at that question that we have, you could just share with them the screen again. If you look at the question that you have, to get revenue, we normally take price times quantity. Price times quantities. Selling price times quantity. Selling price times quantity, what do we have there? For product W, I'm able to see the selling price. The selling price. The selling price. No, the selling price has already been given. Just scroll, go to the next page. Go to the next page, you see how the question was framed. If the selling price is not given, of course, they want us to do a cost statement. Let's see. So in the next page, they simply wanted us, prepare unit costs for each product. So sorry for that. They want us to give them a cost statement and not what here, a profit statement. So please just delete the title there. And of course, this is useless. And they give us a cost statement there. So give us a cost statement. A cost statement. So cost statement, I will start with my primary cost, my prime cost. Prime costs are, of course, two of them. We have what we call the material cost. So we have here material, we have labor, and then we have our overheads there. The overheads are the ones that I even start by copying them. The overheads that have been apportioned for each product. We have overhead for W is 700. We have X is 2100. We have Y, which is 7,000. We have Z, which is 21,000, like that. So now I want you to go back to your question and give me the material cost for these products here. The material cost for W, material cost for W, material cost for W. If you could share the screen with us. The material cost for W. Material cost for W. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to see the material cost for W, what are we given there? Material cost for W. How I wish somebody could give me the answer right away. Material cost for W. Material cost for W. Material cost for W, I'm able to see the material cost per unit. Whenever you are given material cost per unit, always remember to multiply that material cost for each unit with the number of units, with the number of units, with the number of units. So what do we have there? I can see the first one for material, it is 20. So 20 times what here, somebody? 20 times, if you look at our table there, it should be 20 times. Number of units of output of W are 10. How about X? X material cost I can see is 80. So I have 80 times 10 again. So 80 times 10. We go to Y. So for Y, what am I able to see for materials? I'm able to see 20 times 100, 20 times 100, 20 times 100. And then Z lastly, we are able to see materials or accounting for materials. We are able to see 80 times 100. So please show them the screen here. 80 times 100. What do we have here on the board? So what figures do we have here, somebody? Please give us figures, give us figures. The first one is 200. This one here will be 80 times 10, giving us 800. This will be 2,000. This will be 8,000, like that. So please go to labor. What do we have under labor? What do we have under labor? Labor, I can see the labor cost is given there. Let's share the screen with them. The labor cost, the labor cost. What do we have under labor? Under labor, ladies and gentlemen, labor, I'm able to see the labor there, which is labor there. I'm able to see the direct labor hours per unit again, per unit. So in terms of labor, you have to be careful. In terms of labor, you must be careful. What I'm supposed to be doing, ladies and gentlemen, for labor, I should take that 1 times number of units, and then they have given us the labor cost per hour, which is 15, or rather 5. So for labor, I have to be very careful. I can see the number of hours will be 1 hour times 10, right? So then I have the total number of hours. Now times the labor cost per hour, so times 5 here, like that. When you go to X, what we have there under X, ladies and gentlemen? Under X, ladies and gentlemen, I can see the labor hours are 3. So 3 per unit times number of units, which are 10. So we have here 3 times 10 times 5 times the cost per hour. We have Y. I should take what times what? Under labor, I can see Y. I should take 1 times 100 times 5. So for Y, ladies and gentlemen, what am I able to see there for Y? I can see it's 1 hour per unit times number of units times the cost per hour. And then now we have the last one, which is Z, which should be 3. 3 times 100 again. So 3 times 100 times 5. So please give me these figures. This will be 50. This will be 30, 150. This will be 500. And then this lastly will be 1500. And that is it. Give us the total cost. Come and give us the total cost, which now should be able to calculate into the cost per watt year per unit. Give us the total cost. And then, of course, once you get the total cost, divide the total cost with the number of units for you to give us cost per watt year, cost per unit. For you to give us cost per unit. Please advise us. What do we have there? Of course, I know there is this attribute of getting cost per unit directly, but look at most of your exam questions. They would want the total profit, and that is why myself I made the tradition that anytime I see any figure being given on a value basis, always get the total. And then later on, if they want cost per unit, I divide with number of units. If they want profit per unit, the same case. I take total profit divided by number of units like that. So in this case here, cost per total cost, if you have to add very fast, what we have there? So the first one I'm being given a figure of 950. How about X? X, what we have there, somebody? Total cost.
3,050.
3,050. How about Y?
9,500.
9,500. And then we have Z lastly.
30,500.
30,500. But since they wanted unit costs, come and divide this by the number of units. Like we know that W has got 10 units, X has got also 10 units. Divide this by 100, divide this by 100. So by doing that, we'll be able to give us the cost per unit. So this is 95. This will be 305, 305. This will be 95. This will be 305. If you do it that way, you'll be able to score all the marks. So now, my great students, what have we learned from this question? What is your take home from this question in traditional method? In traditional method, what have we learned? Talk to me this morning. If, for example, out of this classroom, you knock, for example, against your spouse at the door, and the spouse asks you, what have you learned today?
Uses one factor. Uses one factor.
Very good. These are students who will be able to give whoever who asks them what they have learned today a very good response. That a traditional approach we shall be using only one factor to apportion the entire overhead. To apportion the entire overhead. Thank you very much. Iko mwingine hata mtoto akimuuliza umesoma namwambia wewe hiyo sio shida yako. Na sio shida ya mtoto kwa sababu wewe hutaki haukuelewa. So tuende kwa ABC. So number 2, they want us to give them a cost statement, this time around using ABC. So ABC is the easiest. Why? Because what I need to do is to understand my overhead very well. So go to the overhead statement. Please share with us the screen, the first page. So like you can see the overheads here. I can imagine if I can keep it over, that is the maximum. Overhead cost. I can see my overhead costs. There are many because ABC, remember ABC is multi-factor. So overhead cost, what do we have there? The first one is called short run variable costs. Short run variable costs. And then I can see the second one, ladies and gentlemen. The second one that I'm able to see is called setup costs. From ladies and gentlemen, we have the third one, which is what here? Expediting costs. So we have here expediting costs. And then the last one, ladies and gentlemen, is called material handling costs. Material handling costs. Now, this examiner was a good examiner. He went ahead and gave us the cost factors or the cost drivers. He gave them to us directly. He told us the short-run variable cost, we should be able to, according to this examiner, the short-run variable cost, if you could just go back to the book, I show them where it's given.
The number of inventories is the cost driver for the setup cost.
Production runs, yeah? So we have production runs here, yes. Production runs.
Okay, it's the cost driver for setup costs.
Expediting
and scheduling costs.
So we have here production runs. We have material handling.
Material handling and
production runs. And then short-run variable costs.
And expediting and scheduling costs and material handling costs and the machine hours are the cost driver for short-run variable costs.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now, please, my students, you can just go ahead and copy these cost drivers. They have been given in the question. They've been given the question. This book I'll be able to share with you immediately after the class. So we have here short-run variable costs. We have, at times they give you. So we have here machine hours. Number 2, all the others are being influenced by production runs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would want you to take a step of faith and do the apportionment of these particular expenses to our four products. And I would want us to start with this short run variable cost. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are apportioning the short run variable cost, and of course, to apportion it, we need to know the cost driver. The cost driver here, they are telling us, is are the machine hours. So then you need the machine hours for W, X, Y, and Z. You need the machine hours. We're going to give you like a minute. You try that for us. You try that for us. Try that for us very fast. So don't forget that under ABC, we are targeting individual overhead items, individual with many factors. So you can see we have got many factors. We've got many factors. Two of them, machine hours and production runs. So for machine hours, I want to see whether there is anybody who will be able to remember how to apportion the short run variable cost using machine hours, using machine hours. Using machine hours. So machine hours, I'll have to go to that particular note which is talking about machine hours. And I'm able to see it there very clearly. Machine hours, very last there, 1313. So machine hours, I can see 1313, but remember these parameters are for each unit that is produced, but I want total machine hours. So whenever we are given a parameter for each unit, to get total, you must multiply this with the number of units here produced. So of which the number of units produced, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have here for W? You told me 10, 100, 100. So then this will give us 10, this will give us 30, this will give us 100, this will give us 300. So in total, we'll end up getting 400 what here? 440. 440. 400 and what here? 40. So in terms of proportions, then this will be 10 over 440, 10 over 440, 30 over 440, we have 100 over 440, we have 300 over 440. So please look for the expense that we want to apportion using these machine hours. So to apportion using machine hours, I want to apportion the short run variable costs. The short run variable cost, who is able to see the short run variable cost value? from the table that you copied down, that you put down, that you wrote down, who is able to see the total short run variable cost that you want to apportion? Somebody give me the answer there.
3080.
3080, yeah?
Yeah.
3080. Are you sure it's 3080 for only short run variable costs?
Okay.
3080, yeah? So 3080, 3080, we have here 3080, 3080. So then could you kindly give us a figure, ladies and gentlemen, here for the first product? For the first product. When you do your apportionment for the first product, which is W, what figure shall we get? When you do the apportionment, what figure are we going to get somebody here?
70.
70, yeah? 70. How about the second figure? The second figure will be 210. For X, what do we have somewhere there? 210. How about the third figure?
700.
700. And then we go to the fourth figure lastly. The fourth figure lastly, what figure are we able to see?
2100.
2100, thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm learning something very good here. I'm learning that the overheads, short-run variable cost overheads there, we've got these particular values for each of the products. So we go to the next item, which is the step-up cost, setup cost, I mean. The setup cost, they want us to use production what here? Runs. They want us to use production runs. For setup cost, they want us to use production runs. So we have number 2, production runs. Come and they give us the production runs. Is there anybody who is able to see production runs for W, X, Y, and Z? Production runs. Is there somebody who is able to see them? Somebody just share the screen with us. Production runs. What do we have there for production runs? For production runs, ladies and gentlemen, what I have here for production runs, what I'm able to see, there must be number of production runs. Yes, I can see W, X, Y, Z, D, 2255. So I can see 2255. The question is, will I multiply these figures with the number of units? Will I multiply these figures with the number of units, ladies and gentlemen? Will I multiply these figures with the number of units?
No.
No, because they haven't told us production runs per unit. So whatever is given just as a blanket like that, number of production runs in a whole period, that is not a unit parameter. Don't involve number of units. So please come and give us the total. So what is the total figure, somebody here? Give us the total. What is the total figure, somebody here? This will be 10 plus 4. That gives us what here, somebody? That gives us 14. So then this will be 2 over 14. This will be 2 over 14 as well. 5 over 14, 5 over 14 like that. So please give me the figure that you would want to apportion. What figure do we want to apportion here? The first one is the setup cost. Are you able to see the setup cost, the total figure of setup cost? Setup cost. Are you able to see that figure? Someone read for us the total setup cost figure.
109.20.
109?
20.
109.20. So times 1, 10, 9, 20. 10, 9, 20. 10, 9, 20. So kindly give us the total setup cost for each product. For each product. What do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? What do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? What do we have here, ladies and gentlemen?
1560.
1560. So I'm being given 1560 here. How about the second one? You guys are aggressive. Thank you very much for showing us a lot of energy in the morning. That's very good. Very good, very good, very good. So X, what do we have there, somebody?
1560.
1560. Or the first one is 1560. The second one the same. 1560. Actually, they are the same. How about Y and the Z? 39. 100. So this one must as well be 39 what year? 3900 like that. Now, having gotten setup cost, I would look for, these production runs is influencing many factors. Apart from setup cost, we still have some other expense which is dependent on the production runs. Please share with us the screen. I'll show you something. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We are being told that we have another expense there called expediting and the scheduling costs. So we have, I'll come and do this on the same table because of them sharing expediting costs. They are sharing production runs as the cost driver. So scheduling expediting costs, what do we have? The same proportions, 2 over 14, 2 over 14. We have 5 over 14, 5 over 14, times. Who is able to see the expediting cost, the total cost, expediting cost, ladies and gentlemen? I can see is 9,100. 9,100, if you could show them my board for the sake of the students we are recording this particular video for. So please give us these figures. So 2 times 2 over 14 times 9,100, etc. Give us figures we write down. The first one I'm being told is 1,300. 1,300. The next one?
Gijui is asking, how do you know they are sharing the driver?
The driver. How do we know they are sharing the driver? Remember, there's a table that we did, and they said that the first one was short-run variable cost. Short-run variable cost was the only one using machine hours. But all the others, if you remember that table, had the production runs for each one of them. So the last 3 had the production runs. Thank you very much for that question. I hope I've answered you. There's a table that we wrote down. A table that had cost drivers. Right? So 1,300. The second one is 1,300 as well. The third one, what do we have for the third one?
3250.
3250, I'm being told. 3250. And then the last one is 3250 as well. 250 as well. And then now we go to the last cost, which is on the screen there. The last cost, which is on the screen there. So the last cost is called material handling. So we have here material handling. So we have material handling. So material handling, we're also using the same cost driver. So we have here 2 over 14. We have 2 over 14. We have 5 over 14. We have 5 over 14. So times. So the material handling cost, what figure are we able to see there, somebody? Material handling cost. The figure that you're able to see there is 7,700. So times 7,700. Times 7,700. 7,700. Please give us figures. Give us figures. Please give us figures.
The first one is 1,100.
The first one is 1,100. 1,100. The second one? 1,100. Go to the same. The third one?
2750.
2750. 2750. The last one will also be 2750. And that is it. So come and give us our cost statement. Give us our cost statement. So we have W, we have X, we have Y, We have Z. So we begin with the material cost, the prime cost. So material cost, what we have there, somebody material cost. Material cost, we have done material cost in the first schedule. And we got these materials in the first schedule. We got the material cost. Somebody help us. Material cost from the first schedule, what figure are you able to see there? When we did the conventional costing, we had those material costs and labor costs. So material cost, what do we have there, somebody? I'm waiting for a figure. Material cost, what do we have, somebody? We have total figure here. For material for W.
200.
200, eh? How about X, my great students? X is how much?
800.
800. How about Y?
2000.
2000. Z?
8,000.
8,000, eh? 8,000. Then from there we had labor. Labor cost as we wind up this class. Labor cost for W. Labor cost for W. What do we have here? Somebody labor cost for W. 50. X. 150. Why?
500.
500. Z.
1,500.
1,500. Thank you very much. From there now we go to the overheads. And this time around we are using ABC. So we expect to have many types of overheads, of which the first one was the short run. Variable cost. The short run variable cost, are you able to remember those workings? The short run variable costs, if I can recall that right here, we have 70, we have 200, I'm picking them from here. So we have 70, the next one is 200, what here? 10, these are the short run variable costs. So 210, The next one is 700, yes. The next one is 2,100. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from short run cost, we have others. Like now we have the setup costs. So the setup cost, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have over there? Setup cost. We have 1560. They're there right there. 3,900. We have 3,900. From ladies and gentlemen, we have the expediting costs. Expediting cost, what do we have there? 1,300. And then we have 3,250. And then lastly, we have the material handling. So we have here material handling. Material handling costs, we have 1,100, 2,750, and then lastly, 2,750. So ladies and gentlemen, come and now give us the total costs. You aggregate everything downwards.
Is it wrong if you added them?
No. If you're to add them, that is still okay. What that student is asking, what if we came first of all and did an overhead cost statement and then we get total, and then later on we take that total overhead and aggregate it with the primary cost. That is still okay. Many ways of killing a rat. At the end of the day, what you want is the rat dead. The rat should be dead at the end of the day. So please give us the total cost as we summarize. So for W, you're adding or everything downwards. You're adding everything downwards. Give us a figure.
4280.
4280 W. And then we have X. X, what do we have here? Somebody? I'm waiting.
5120.
5120. 5120. And then Y, at the end of the day, what do we have? Y, at the end of the day, what do we have?
13100.
13100. And then lastly, Z, what do we have at the end of the day?
21500.
21500. Thank you very much. Don't forget that what they wanted at the end of the day is you to give them cost per watt year per unit. So come and divide this by the number of units. 10, 10, 100, 100. Divide them for you to be able to give us the cost per watt year per unit. For you to be able to give us the cost per unit, which at the end of the day will be this divided by 10, 428. Please give us these figures very fast. 428, the second last, or the second one, 512, 512. Then we have 131 shillings. Then we have here 200 watt year, 215, 215, 215, 215.
He's asking, can we have one more question?
Yeah, what I've realized is like I underrated this thing, but I realized here I have to do actually not even one, even two questions. But how I'll do it is to do a question, a full good question on ABC, and then hang it up on my Facebook. Like the way I did with the AFM. But unfortunately, the one that I did with for AFM, the number of views are not even enough, meaning that you guys never went to watch it. You never watched it. So I'll do something on ABC. In the interest of time, I'll do something on ABC. Good question from your past paper. And then I'll put it on my page, Facebook page. Squeeze lazima kuhusu Facebook, not even YouTube. So Joshua Aura, ACCA Mentor. ACCA Mentor, Joshua Aura, ACCA Mentor on Facebook. You should be able to get it by tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1. We will get a fully solved question on ABC, which you should be able to watch, and of course you take your notes, etc. Anyways, thank you very much. I know it has been quite hard, but I want to believe that you've gotten something. You've gotten something out of today's class. Otherwise, thank you very much. Have a good day. So see you in the afternoon. For those of you who are doing advanced FM, see you in the afternoon at exactly 2 p.m. for advanced financial management. God bless you. Have a blessed Sunday.